There's a new report by the House Select Subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government, and it's part of their continuing exposure of the magnitude of censorship being pushed by all the different elements of the Biden regime. There's a very interesting phrase in this report I want to highlight, and it comes out of a document by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency, which is called CISA, C-I-S-A. And it says that CISA is using, quote, a whole of government approach to tackling speech. We are working with federal partners to mature a whole of government approach to mitigating risks of MDM. MDM is misinformation and disinformation. So this whole of government approach is that we coordinate. We have CISA over here. We have the State Department over here, Department of Homeland Security. We have the FBI. We have the DOJ and the White House. And we are collectively pressuring these digital platforms to censor more. This is a disturbing development because, of course, it is horrendously unconstitutional. Congress shall make no law restricting freedom of speech or of the press. I'm essentially quoting the First Amendment, and Congress here refers to the entire federal government, including the delegated branch, the executive branch, which of course is authorized by Congress to carry out the laws that are passed by Congress. They too are forbidden from restricting freedom of speech, and yet here they clearly are. I'm quoting from the testimony now of Michael Schellenberger, testifying before the House. And he says, quote, the censorship industrial complex combines established methods of psychological manipulation, some developed by the U.S. military during the global war on terror, with highly sophisticated tools from computer science. So there's an effort here to really control and manipulate the minds of the American people. It isn't just a matter of I'm going to deplatform you or take down your post. It is we're trying to reshape the minds of the American people. And at the heart of this is this group called CISA. This is a group that was set up to protect against hacking. As the name suggests, a cybersecurity and infrastructure agency. So they're supposed to prevent, for example, efforts to interfere in election software, efforts to undermine the technological capacity of the United States. And yet, here they are in a self-appointed role of regulating speech. They know that what they're doing is wrong. Why? Because they're trying to do it through the back door. In fact, the House has now discovered, the GOP House, that they have gone back on their website and taken out terms like disinformation and misinformation. They're hiding what they're doing. And this concealment operation is critical. Here's a September 26, 2022 email from Annalisa Craven. She's an assistant U.S. attorney with the Department of Justice. And she's talking about CISA documents that have been demanded under the Freedom of Information Act. Quote, could we please see a copy of any relevant CISA documents that you may plan to produce? We're also not sure when you received the records request, but we'd like to have an extension of time to review them and assess whether we have to file suit to protect them from disclosure. So here's the DOJ saying to CISA, hey, listen, you don't have to give up those documents because we can file a motion to block it so you can continue to do your censorship in private without scrutiny by the media or by the American people. One other thing I want to highlight about the censorship industrial complex is that the term that keeps being used by CISA isn't just misinformation or disinformation, but a new term and a very telling one, malinformation. Now, what is malinformation? Well, the word mal generally means bad. Maladroit means someone who's clumsy. Maladministration, something that's poorly administered. So malinformation here is information that is, quote, bad information. But bad why? What's interesting is the way they define malinformation. It is, quote, information based on fact, but used out of context to mislead, harm, or manipulate. In other words, even if you say something that's true, this can be declared as being misleading because where's the context? Dinesh, you've made a quotation out of context. Now, first of all quotations are out of context because that's what it means to have a quotation. If I quote from War and Peace and you say, Dinesh, you have to provide the full context, well, that means I've got to quote the whole book. So a quotation is by definition something lifted out of the book. Now, if for some reason it inverts the meaning of the paragraph or the meaning of what the author is trying to convey, but the point here is that they are trying to censor accurate information because they believe it will have a harmful social effect, and they get to define what harmful is. So so what you have here is disguised censorship that is often done by proxy. What CISA does, for example, is they feed information to these nonprofits. The nonprofits then deposit them into the portals of digital platforms. The digital platforms engage in the censorship. So this is quite clearly coordinated with the government. And as I say, it's not just censorship of things that are false, but also things that happen to be true.